Friends, what I'm about to show you will shake you to your core. Right now, as you watch this late Saturday night, December 28th, the heavens are preparing the most biblical winter storm pattern in decades. A monster storm system is rapidly deepening into a bomb cyclone that will bury entire regions under feet of snow, while simultaneously creating the most dangerous ice storm we've seen this year. And most people have absolutely no idea what's coming. Tornadoes have already touched down across eastern Illinois and western Indiana earlier today, and this was just the beginning of nature's overnight fury that will reshape America. Hit that share button right now. Wake up someone you love because they desperately need to see this life-saving information before sunrise brings chaos to millions. I'm about to share critical information that could literally save your family's life during what's becoming the most dangerous overnight winter storm of the year. In the next 30 seconds, I'll show you exactly which states will wake up buried under 18 inches of snow. At the 4-minute mark, I'll reveal which highways will become ice-covered death traps. And at exactly 7 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll tell you something about this storm's intensity that will absolutely shock you. Stay with me. Your family's Sunday morning survival may depend on it. Picture this nightmare unfolding while families sleep defenseless. Our deep low-pressure system has deepened to 990 millibars as it crosses southern Lake Michigan tonight, like nature's freight train of destruction. But that's not even the worst part of what's happening overnight. This monster is moving northeastward through Michigan as we speak, rapidly intensifying into something truly biblical while you rest. By the wee hours of Monday morning, we'll be looking at a 979 millibar low-pressure system tearing through Ontario. Picture a hurricane-strength storm, but made of ice and snow. And by Monday afternoon, this beast reaches Quebec as a 976 millibar bomb cyclone, a storm so powerful it will transform the landscape while people sleep defenseless. But here's what should really terrify you. While this monster churns northward through the night, it's creating a triple threat of destruction that will wake 100 million Americans to absolute chaos. The Storm Prediction Center issued warnings this evening for severe weather that has already claimed property and threatened countless lives across the Midwest tonight. Here's your first reward for staying with me at this crucial hour. Damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour struck eastern Illinois into Indiana and northwestern Kentucky earlier today like nature's sledgehammer. This includes the major cities of Indianapolis, Lafayette, Terre Haute, Champaign-Urbana, Effingham, Mount Vernon, Illinois, Evansville, and Louisville. Over 5 million Americans directly affected tonight. The hail threat materialized across the warm frontal boundary in northeastern Illinois, northern Indiana, and southern Michigan, where quarter-size hailstones pummeled communities like machine gun fire as darkness fell. But friends, the tornado threat that developed today should keep emergency managers awake all night. Multiple tornadoes have been confirmed across this region of destruction. From the Kankakee area toward Lafayette and Terre Haute, into the Indianapolis area, the tornado damage assessment continues tonight while the storm system intensifies into something unprecedented. The atmospheric setup that created today's destruction featured dew points in the upper 40s to mid-50s. Energy levels that would make springtime meteorologists nervous, unleashed in December darkness. Now, as midnight approaches, our instability decreases. But wind dynamics continue driving life-threatening conditions as this low pressure deepens to levels not seen in decades. Screenshot this map right now and share it with everyone you know. Strong thunderstorms with dangerous winds move through southern lower Michigan, Indiana, southern Illinois, and western Kentucky tonight. Northeastern Arkansas also experienced severe weather earlier with large hail. As these systems moved east tonight, dangerous downbursts and isolated tornadoes continued threatening communities. Small hail pelted Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee as darkness fell. The combination of multiple overnight hazards creates unprecedented danger for millions of morning commuters. But wait! That's not even close to the worst part of this biblical overnight weather catastrophe that's about to unfold.
On the cold side of this system, heavy blizzard conditions with whiteout visibility are developing across Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan as you sleep tonight. The deformation zone is producing 1 to 3 inch per hour snow rates into the UP of Michigan. Think about that, 3 inches every single hour, like nature's conveyor belt of snow. Lake Superior enhancement is supercharging this overnight snow production, creating accumulations that will be measured in feet, not inches, by Monday morning. Lake Michigan will also enhance snowfall overnight, creating dangerous snow squalls with zero visibility across western and southern lower Michigan by daybreak Monday. This will be a massive windmaker across Michigan into the eastern Ohio Valley and southeastern Canada throughout Monday as the bomb cyclone reaches hurricane-level intensity. Blizzard conditions with ground blizzards are guaranteed overnight. Look at the snowfall totals building while you sleep. This will completely paralyze transportation. Northern Wisconsin faces 5 to 10 inches of snow overnight, especially far northern Wisconsin into the Upper Peninsula, where nature shows absolutely no mercy to human infrastructure. Marquette, Michigan will wake up to 12 to 18 inches of snow by Monday morning. Picture this: snow so deep it buries car bumpers and makes driveways impassable. But Eastern Ontario faces the worst overnight assault, potentially 1 to 2 feet of snow with up to 25 inches falling through Tuesday. Imagine waking up to snow reaching your waist. Southern Quebec will wake Monday to 12 to 18 inches of fresh snow as this monster storm system reaches peak intensity with winds that rival hurricanes. The traditional lake effect snow areas are getting absolutely hammered overnight. Traverse City, Erie, Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Buffalo, Watertown, New York, Toronto all face emergency conditions. Localized spots could see over a foot of snow from heavy lake effect bands developing through the overnight hours. Picture snow falling so fast you can watch it accumulate in real time. Let me give you the clearer picture of what's happening while you sleep defenseless. Heavy lake effect snow bands are organizing as we speak into nature's snow machines. Marquette, Michigan is in the bullseye for 12 to 18 inches, but eastern Ontario and western Quebec face 1 to 2 feet through Tuesday morning, amounts that will crush the unprepared. But here's the part that will make your Sunday morning commute not just impossible, but potentially deadly: the crippling ice storm developing as you watch this. Ice accumulations across southern Ontario, Quebec, and the Northeast are building right now, up to 3/4 of an inch of deadly ice coating everything like nature's frozen armor. This is extremely dangerous for anyone attempting to travel. Do not travel unless it's life or death, because these ice accumulations turn roads into skating rinks where cars cannot stop. Ice accumulations make travel practically impossible across the Northeast, especially upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and western Maine, where emergency services cannot respond. Southern Ontario and Quebec face 1/4 to 3/4 inch of ice that will snap thousands of tree limbs and bring down countless power lines throughout the overnight hours. Power infrastructure is failing as we speak. Tens of thousands could lose electricity as ice builds up on lines and massive trees crash down in the darkness. But friends, let me tell you about the areas where God's divine protection shields communities, while others suffer through this night of biblical testing. The southern United States sleeps peacefully tonight under heavenly protection. Texas, from Dallas to Houston to San Antonio, rests comfortably while the north faces divine judgment. Oklahoma, from Oklahoma City to Tulsa, enjoys mild overnight conditions as the Lord shields the plains from the Arctic fury that's devastating the Great Lakes region. Arkansas, from Little Rock to Fayetteville, remains under heaven's protection with comfortable temperatures, while ice storms rage northward with destructive intent. Louisiana, from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, sleeps safely under God's wing, while their northern neighbors face nature's overnight wrath and bone-chilling cold. Mississippi, from Jackson to Gulfport, enjoys peaceful rest while watching divine judgment unfold across the Great Lakes with life-threatening conditions. Alabama, from Birmingham to Mobile, slumbers peacefully under heavenly protection during this night of northern tribulation and Arctic punishment. Florida, from Miami to Tampa to Jacksonville, sleeps soundly in God's vacation paradise, while winter storms bring overnight destruction with hurricane-force winds elsewhere. Georgia, from Atlanta to Savannah, rests comfortably under divine favor, while ice storms coat power lines with deadly ice hundreds of miles north. South Carolina, from Charleston to Columbia, enjoys peaceful sleep as heavenly protection shields the state from Arctic overnight fury. North Carolina, from Charlotte to Raleigh, sleeps peacefully, while northern states wake to transportation nightmares and widespread power outages affecting millions. But wait! There's something I haven't told you yet that will change everything you think you know about this overnight storm system. Virginia, from Richmond to Norfolk, faces only minor overnight impacts compared to the biblical destruction hitting the Great Lakes with dangerous wind chills. Tennessee, from Nashville to Memphis, sleeps under relative protection, while their neighbors north face overnight ice storm devastation that will cripple infrastructure for weeks. Kentucky, from Louisville to Lexington, experienced severe weather earlier but avoids the worst overnight ice and snow accumulations that will paralyze northern regions. West Virginia, from Charleston to Morgantown, sits on the danger zone edge, with mixed overnight precipitation creating hazardous morning conditions that will trap unwary travelers. Maryland, from Baltimore to Annapolis, will wake to the southern edge of significant ice depending on the exact overnight storm track. Potentially dangerous accumulations. Delaware and southern New Jersey face the overnight transition zone where rain changes to ice, creating the most dangerous morning driving conditions in years. Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, sits directly in the crosshairs of this ice storm, with potentially catastrophic overnight accumulations coating everything. New York, from Buffalo to Albany, will wake to heavy snow in the north and dangerous ice coating the southern regions like nature's glass weapon. Connecticut, from Hartford to New Haven, faces significant overnight ice accumulations that will bring down power grids for extended periods, leaving families in darkness. Rhode Island and Massachusetts, from Providence to Boston, wake to the full fury of this nor'easter, with heavy snow and dangerous winds that will reshape the coastline. Vermont, from Burlington to Montpelier, and New Hampshire, from Concord to Manchester, will wake buried under significant snow, paralyzing all transportation for days. Maine, from Portland to Bangor, sits directly in the path of overnight heavy snow with accumulations that could exceed 2 feet in some areas, amounts rarely seen. And here's what I promise to tell you at 7 minutes 30 seconds that will absolutely shock you about this overnight storm intensity and raw power. The pressure drop from 990 to 976 millibars happening overnight represents atmospheric energy equivalent to multiple Category 2 hurricanes unleashed simultaneously in winter. When this divine energy releases over the Great Lakes tonight, it creates what scientists can only describe as God's frozen hurricane with unprecedented power. Computer models show this storm will generate dangerous winds and create ground blizzard conditions where visibility drops to absolute zero across vast regions. Those conditions, combined with heavy overnight snow, create circumstances where survival depends on preparation and divine intervention during the darkest hours. But that's still not the most dangerous part of what's coming. The Midwest faces completely different overnight dangers as Arctic air pours in behind the system. Illinois, from Chicago to Rockford, will wake to the Arctic invasion with dangerous wind chills developing throughout Monday that will test human endurance. Indiana, from Indianapolis to Fort Wayne, faces dangerous overnight cold that will overwhelm heating systems and threaten vulnerable populations with hypothermia. Ohio, from Cleveland to Columbus, sits in the crosshairs of both overnight ice storms and Arctic air invasions, a double threat of biblical proportions. Michigan, from Detroit to Grand Rapids to Marquette, faces the worst overnight combination: heavy ice followed by bitter Arctic cold that will test survival skills. Wisconsin, from Milwaukee to Green Bay, experiences dangerous overnight snow followed by life-threatening wind chills developing Monday that will challenge the unprepared. Minnesota, from Minneapolis to Duluth, sits in the path of overnight lake-effect snow bands that could dump massive accumulations while you sleep defenseless. Iowa, from Des Moines to Cedar Rapids, faces bitter overnight cold with dangerous wind chills, making outdoor exposure hazardous within minutes. Missouri, from St. Louis to Kansas City, experiences Arctic air overnight, with temperatures plunging dramatically before sunrise, the fastest drop in years. Kansas, from Wichita to Topeka, sits on the southern edge of the Arctic outbreak, with dangerous overnight wind chills developing across the plains. Nebraska, from Omaha to Lincoln, faces the fury of overnight Arctic air, with wind chills reaching levels that will test human endurance and survival. North Dakota, from Fargo to Bismarck, and South Dakota, from Sioux Falls, face some of the coldest overnight air in years, with conditions that defy preparation. Emergency supply kits become absolutely critical for overnight survival. Flashlights, batteries, water, non-perishable food, medications, warm clothing, and backup heating sources. Vehicle emergency kits must include sleeping bags, food, water, jumper cables, tire chains, sand, and multiple communication devices if you absolutely must attempt travel. Carbon monoxide detectors save lives when people desperately use alternative heating methods during overnight power outages that kill silently in darkness. Generator safety requires outdoor operation with proper ventilation. Never bring combustion engines inside where families sleep or carbon monoxide becomes a silent killer. Communication plans reconnect families when cell towers fail overnight and loved ones become separated during nature's fury with no way to call for help. Cash reserves become vital when electronic systems fail overnight, and society temporarily returns to simpler times, where credit cards become worthless. But here's what gives me hope during this night of biblical testing. Communities that unite in faith always emerge stronger through divine grace. When the Creator established natural laws governing our atmosphere, He also planted seeds of compassion in human hearts that shine brightest during nights like this. Check on elderly neighbors who might need assistance tonight. They may be angels disguised as your responsibility during times of trial and testing. Share heating, fuel, warm meals, and shelter space. These acts of love multiply exponentially through divine arithmetic during overnight emergencies when lives hang in balance. Coordinate snow removal for those unable to shovel. Every path you clear becomes a highway for angels to travel and for emergency services to reach those in need. Scripture teaches us, do not neglect hospitality to strangers, for some have entertained angels unawares. This overnight emergency is your moment to serve. Your kindness during this weather emergency literally saves lives when people are most vulnerable, and heaven is watching closest during our darkest hour. As we face this biblical overnight pattern together, remember that preparation and faith work as perfectly as gears in God's great machine of providence. We prepare not from fear, but from wisdom. We help not from obligation, but from love, divinely planted in faithful hearts during trials. The best time to prepare spiritually and physically was before tonight. But even now, as this storm rages, it's not too late to seek divine protection. Take these overnight warnings seriously. Make final preparations immediately. Check supplies. Pray for guidance and divine protection over your family. Avoid all unnecessary travel during these dangerous overnight and morning conditions. No appointment matters more than your eternal safety and family survival. If authorities advise staying home tomorrow, they're God's messengers, protecting you from dangers your eyes cannot perceive in tomorrow's chaos. Share this video immediately with everyone you love. Tag 3 people who need this overnight information. Comment protected if you're prepared spiritually and physically. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now. You need to stay informed as this biblical pattern continues through Monday's destruction. We've weathered divine tests before through faith and will weather this overnight trial too, emerging purified like gold refined by holy fire. The same divine providence governing weather systems also provides strength, wisdom, and protection during our darkest overnight hours of testing. This overnight storm will be memorable, but it doesn't have to be tragic if we prepare with wisdom and trust in heavenly protection. When doubt overwhelms, choose faith. When others need help, choose love. When overnight conditions terrify, choose prayer and divine dependence.
May the Lord bless and protect you through this overnight blizzard, and may our communities emerge united and stronger by Monday morning.
Remember, every winter storm eventually surrenders to spring's resurrection, just as every overnight trial yields to God's morning victory.
This has been your prophetic overnight weather briefing for late Saturday, December 28th, 2025, as heaven's power transforms our nation through natural law.
From all of us called to keep you informed and spiritually prepared, have a blessed and divinely protected night ahead. May God's angels surround you through this overnight storm, and His peace guard your hearts. Stay safe, stay faithful, stay blessed this night, friends.